Hi everyone, it's Andrea here from Admire PR, and I'm delighted to have Claire Gallimore with me, who is a dressage trainer. And I'd love you to tell us about how you got into dressage, Claire, and how you your career as it's progressed so far.
Perfect, I will. Hi, everyone. Yeah, my name's Claire Gallimore. I've ridden my whole life. I'm now 28 years old and started focusing on dressage from about the age of 12, 13. I first got into the dressage. I won the talent spotting competition that was held many years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago now. So yeah, that was kind of the first opening I had in my dressage career. And then I started with ponies at the age of 13 and rode on my first Europeans at the age of 15 and then again at 16, and then went up through the youth teams doing the young riders, juniors and the under 25s, and rode at the Europeans in all four of those categories. And yeah, just from there, got to Grand Prix and decided that I wanted to make a career of it. More recently, over the last 3-4 years, I've decided to take a little step back from the competition environment and start more focusing on my coaching and building up my coaching business, and yeah, spreading and sharing the knowledge that I've been exposed to in my career so far.
Brilliant. And I've met you through Laura Tomlinson, and
Yeah.
I, I've seen you working with other riders' horses as well, who horses that struggle a bit with tension or with spookiness, and I'm enthralled by the work you do with these horses, and I'm an ex-rider, so I remember that, what it was like to have a horse that is that tense and not quite knowing what to do, knowing there's some way through, but not knowing what that is. So
Yeah.
how did you get interested in the way you work with the horses now?
So my mother was a very big influence with me getting into the horses and growing up, and she was very much into like natural horsemanship and understanding, horses and how they are and how they think. So I was always grew up around that. But I guess through the competition environment that I was in, I kind of went further away from that whilst growing up. And then I had my Annetta ballerina that I was bought for after ponies for juniors, and she was this incredible horse and incredible movement and incredible ability, but I just couldn't really ride her. I didn't have the knowledge about how to deal with such a talented athlete. And so I moved to Holland, and I spent my first 3 years of Holland at the Academy Bartels, training with Imke and Tineke Bartels, and learned a lot. But I still, some days I would go in the arena and I would get 70%, and other days I'd go in the arena and get 57% because I couldn't get her around the outside, or she was spooking, or I couldn't get up one end of the arena. So I really thought to myself, if I keep doing the same thing, I'm going to keep getting the same outcome. And I knew that I had seen Tristan at the Global Dressage Forum that was hosted at the Bartels, and for the first time ever, I was exposed to actually more thinking about, the way the horse thinks and the way the horse can deal with pressure in order to enable top performance. And I thought I have to take Bella, I have to get a link into Tristan, and I have to go and, submerge myself in his way of training. And I went for one lesson, and after that, I said, I want to move my horses here, I want to be based with you, and I want to learn everything that so I spent the last 3 years of my time in Holland out with Tristan, and just really understanding horsemanship and really understanding how horses operate and how horses think, and if there's a reason that there is a reason that they're not performing at their best ability, or they can't get to one end of the arena, and it's our responsibility as the rider and the handler to understand why that is, and then to give the horse more knowledge to make sure that the horse feels that it can do that. So yeah, my passion was totally sparked from Tristan, and he's a great friend of mine and mentor of mine still. And I feel very passionate about helping riders and helping people within the dressage industry to understand more about horses and give horses knowledge about how they can deal with this unnatural, pressured environment that they find themselves in top performance.
Sure, it's incredibly rewarding for you. It must be to see horses that you start work with and they struggle with themselves for whatever reason, and like to see them progress as well.
Yeah, no, it is the most, it is the most amazing, journey to be on. And even though I'm not doing the riding at a high level myself at the moment, I'm getting so much satisfaction from helping these horses and riders and seeing them being able to achieve their goals. And I think it's such an important part of a part of the dressage world, that we have to realize that if mentally they're not in a good place, physically they can't perform at their best ability, just like us as riders. We have to mentally be prepared for the competition in order to be able to ride at our best, and it's exactly the same thing for the horse. And I think there has to be this growing awareness of understanding that it's our responsibility to have these conversations with these horses and to understand and prep them, not only physically but also mentally, for this high level competition environment.
Definitely. And for you, so you've taken a step back from the top level competing yourself.
Yeah.
But what are your ambitions over the next few years? What would you like to do?
What would I like to do? I think I would love to keep sharing and growing the coaching business that I have, and really, I'm starting to break through to more people competing at the higher level. And I would love to continue to share the knowledge that I have, and keep showing people, trying to shift a mindset slightly within the industry, I think is really important. And it's starting to trickle down, and it's starting to happen. And I think people are forced in some way. I was definitely forced to have that change of mindset, because I had this amazing horse and I couldn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. So Bella forced me in some way to look for another way of being and another element of training. And I hope that, I can encourage, show, people that there is different elements that is so important into being able to train the horse to Grand Prix in a with relaxed power.
Yeah, we talk about like the riders and their mental preparation. Now, when I first started competing, that was very new. I mean, we're talking like late 1990s into the early 2000s when I was competing, and mental preparation was for a rider, and physical preparation was really, really new. And now that's become the norm. Okay, that is, with especially in the UK with world class coming in, that's become like the way. It's a much more professional sport. Like you said, like it's like suddenly those of us who've had horses that are difficult have looked for other ways to help. It needs that normality. Like it's usual for a rider to prep themselves mentally. It's time now for the horses to be thought of in the same way.
100%. And I think it is, I think the reason what Tristan was able to give me is really that bridge of the gap between the groundwork and the ridden, like how this is going to help me get a PB in the arena, or how this is going to help me perform at my best ability, or me and my horse perform at our best ability. And I think people need to try to stop thinking as groundwork, but actually if I take a horse on the ground, I can tell them exactly how it feels under saddle. The two things are so interlinked. And of course you can't train a horse to Grand Prix by just doing the groundwork and just, getting them mentally prepared, but it is a component. And I think, I feel very passionate about trying to encourage that change of mindset within the industry.
I think, that's actually it's a really good point, because what the work I see you do, I've seen you work with horses on the ground and then with a rider on, and because of your experience and your Grand Prix knowledge and your riding ability, you're able to bridge that gap, and that's been missing before. And that's something that I've seen before. Claire, thank you for joining me for this quick chat. I will share all your links, and we'll share some other videos and things so people can delve into more about what the work you do. But
amazing,
it's really great to chat to you for this
time. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.